updates with on-call engineering for this month. I think really the last month has been focused on the phase 1 water improvements project, which is out for bid currently, which is exciting. Just a reminder, bids are due next Wednesday, 9/21 at 2 p.m. there at the district office. Jesse, are you going to be there to receive bids as they come in?
Oh yeah.
Okay. I knew so, but it was just confirming because they will be delivered in person, so they'll probably just come in like manila envelopes, basically. I'll be there at that time as well, and then we'll hold the bid opening shortly thereafter. So we'll just go through each contractor's bid at a time, open them, read them aloud, and then Keller will take the bids back with us and conduct our review. So within a couple days, we'll provide all of the contractors with a bid abstract, which is just basically all the bid results and shows, you know, who the apparent low bidder is. And then we'll review each, because there is quite a few contract documents that come with the bid, or bid documents that come with it. We'll review each one for compliance, and then hopefully within about a week after that, we'll make a recommendation to the board on who we think is the lowest qualified bidder. So yeah, that's really the process. I don't know if you guys have any questions on the advertisement for bids and everything I just talked about.
I have a question for you, Ben. It's not so much in the advertisement for bid, but we had discussed earlier in the meeting the SCADA equipment. In fact, we've had so many issues with it, and we're looking forward to including the SCADA as a part of these projects. And I wanted to find out, is anybody bidding on that? Is that a part of either of these projects at this point in time?
So the SCADA that will be included with this project, Bob, is just what will go into the new Dromore booster station. So it won't be a district-wide improvement, if that makes sense.
Okay, I guess my question would be, whatever we're doing there, we need to have that be district-wide because of the problems that we're having, and also making sure we can get replacement parts, because as Jesse, as you know, we've had to spend a lot of money. When something happens, we're continually getting Bigfoot out there, and we need to get it on to be the same one. So I don't know if that means we have to consider Cape Horn Estates separately on our own, or what.
Yeah, you likely would have to, or potentially we could work some in as a change order depending on your funding availability and if DEQ will allow it.
Right.
But really our scope and this project, in terms of what was planned for in the facility plan and designed, is just the improvements necessary to get the system online and communicating with your existing SCADA system.
I believe we had it came up in conversation in one of these meetings in the last few months, and it was said that we'd have to do a change order, but it was dealing with some funds that we had somewhere, some funds that were, we couldn't use some funds, or we were talking about the funds that we had, and they had to be used for that at a specific time. And we talked about it a few months ago.
You were probably talking about, like, if you use Bayview's funds, you don't have to go through DEQ, right? If you use your own
No, but we'd still have to
funds,
do a change order though, correct? We'd still have to do a change order even if we're doing some of our, I would say our work, because we're not considering anybody else as a lender, but I thought it was said that we'd have to have a change order for that regardless, and that's why I'm speaking up, because...
Right, well, maybe part of it's for this project, and the other part we have to cover, but one of the key issues is that we may be 2 months out on, parts for anything new even. And I don't want to see us get stuck with something being hit by lightning and we're trapped having to go up every day and start pumps and turn them off and things like that. No, I don't like doing that.
SCADA was specifically listed in our WFP, our water facilities plan, as being an item that was to be funded by that.
The problem with that was that the district, in going through, trying to
Right.
pass all the bonds,
Right.
we ended up piecemealing it, and different boards at different times
Right.
decided that we would take care of the SCADA system on our own. The problem is that we decided to save a penny and bought a system that is starting to cost us more in repairs than it is
Because it's older.
because it's older.
Mhm.
So then we chose to save a penny again on bond money and not use bond money with it, and it's just,
Well, still, right now, maybe it's in the minutes, I don't think I'll find it in the minutes, but it was brought up. We can table this discussion
Yes.
for
And we've got a
for
quote
now.
from Bigfoot from a couple months ago too.
There was that, and it was about that same time, and with these guys here, Keller said something, I know they said it would require a change of order,
Right.
but I can't remember exactly what that fund was that we were.
From what I remember, Sean, so if it's your own funds, you can proceed almost as you have been with like Bigfoot, for example. You can proceed with making the SCADA improvements using your own funds. It's just to go through DEQ if you want to use your SRF loan and or your ARPA money that you're getting. Then we would have to get that approved by DEQ, and you'd have to go through a change order process
Yeah,
with
we don't
our
wanna do
selected
We don't wanna
contractor.
do that, no.
Yep,
So-
bacon is bacon, don't eat.
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember how much the quote was?
I can look it up real
It
quick
was
and
like
tell you. Go ahead and
38,000.
continue to
Yeah.
talk and I'll let you know.
Okay.
Yeah, but we should probably table this for.
I can absolutely do that, I'll add this to the next agenda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Goodness, Bigfoot is-
Sorry.
You just-
I'm sorry,
No.
Ted, am I stepping on your toes
Not
over
at
there?
all, not at all. I'm all for, you know, if financially we can fund it without going to DEQ, it's, I mean, I'm all for that, because it costs about twice as much if you go through
There you go.
DEQ.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I will add too, you know, with the district getting a little over $1 million in ARPA funds, which is, I think, actually the next item on my list. Once we bid phase one, and we'll know where that dollar amount comes in, we'll likely want to go to bid for phase two, which is the tank, sometime, say, December, for example. And then, once we have bids for phase two, you'll have a really good idea of where you stand in terms of how much money you have versus how much how much was bid, and then how much we want to keep for contingency. And if there's dollars that we think are going to be left over, you know, we can have a discussion with DEQ on how we could potentially utilize them. But anyway, I just wanted to point that out, that I think, you know, within a few months, we'll know pretty close where you stand in terms of overall budget on this project.
While we've been discussing it, I think we did find the quote at $62,000 for total replacement with Raytheon radios, that's for everything. So, you know, that's what we got there. One of the keys is, we have to remember, is we've been using the Banner radios, but as the voltage changes, we have to get bigger antennas, we have service calls, things fail, and this Raytheon is meant to go through all of that. And that's the problem we have, that's why we have more service calls that are nickel and diming us to death. I was looking at the number of invoices from Bigfoot, and that's rivaling our septic tank pumping. It's like, goodness. So anyway, $62,000 what it is, and obviously, that's what we need to look at. That was the proposal from a couple months ago. Do we want to put this as an agenda item
Yep.
for next month?
I have it on the October agenda to discuss in detail.
Okay. And keeping in mind that once we approve it, it's gonna probably take at least 2 months.
Okay.